Hey, hello there. Sorry, I've forgotten how to do everything today. Hold on a second. Get rid of this. Stop things going pedoing. Should have done this obviously before I turned it on. How is everyone? First of all, I'm gonna actually look at your replies and find out the answer to that question in a sec. As soon as I've finished doing this. Yeah, this is the worst thing. Sorry, this is the worst thing that makes a noise. Okay, so yes, that was a terrible start, and that's what will stop people from watching this. Hello, everyone. Good. Glad to see everyone's doing okay. That's great. Feedback issue. Is there a feedback issue? No, everyone else seems fine with it. Okay, so I just wanted to read out a couple of things that I've just written that I think are very good. I'm just getting a slight change to one photograph. I'm hoping we'll be ready when I'm finished this, because then I'm going to just directly post it out. But the article is called Donkey Wrong. Now, don't worry, I know this is a different title from the one I've given you. I'll be getting to that. There's two articles, basically. The first is called Donkey Wrong. And what we've done is we've just created a kind of a rogues gallery of all the people who collaborated in H Bomber Guy's Twitch stream, which he set up as a kind of a harassment attempt to support Mermaids. And he received he made £350,000 for Mermaids. And of course, as we all knew they would, Mermaids are being revealed as a safeguarding and medical scandal. And it's all going to hell for them, thank God. Hopefully saving more kids from their clutches. So anyway, here's the piece I wrote, and I'll just quickly rattle through it, and then I'll get on to why I set this up. A few years back, a man named Harry Brewis, also known as H Bomber Guy, saw my successful attempt to deny lottery funding to the safeguarding nightmare castration cult Mermaids. In response, he live streamed a marathon game of Donkey Kong to raise money for them, and got support from a veritable spectrum of people who should have known better. For posterity then, this is Harry Brewis, and these are the people who helped him fund the Munchausen mums of Mermaids. So then we've got a few of the people who were involved in it, blah, 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 and then it goes back to this ending. A legacy of this stunt was that I was bombarded with Donkey Kong memes, while Harry Brewis was given the Pride Award from Attitude magazine for his efforts to help Mermaids sterilize and mutilate nascent homosexual children. I knew one day I'd be exonerated and he'd be revealed as yet another reckless opportunist, a bully in a movement that rewards bullying and indeed could not survive without it. In his excitement at launching a harassment campaign against a writer with an unpopular opinion, Brewis caused irreparable harm to a generation of children in the UK and Ireland. Harry Brewis, knowing what you know now about Mermaids, will you apologise to those who have suffered at their hands? If not, I suggest in the future we call anyone who successfully raises funds to cause harm a bomber guy, as in, be careful about giving that money to that one. He might be a bomber guy. And to those who asked, that's how you beat Beaver Bother, with patience and a trust in the fact that you're up against some of the dumbest people who ever sat in front of a keyboard. Alrighty, so that's the text with the first piece. Yeah, no, it should be the video title KFP, but then what happened was that that made me think of all the harassment campaigns I've faced. The latest one is another Pink News story, which claims that I'm a COVID and climate change denialist. I hope people watch the video with Stephen Knight. That will, just show they're lying, basically. But it made me think about how the Father Ted musical isn't getting made because of all these harassment campaigns, which have been basically blackening my name when I've turned out to be right. So I wrote another appeal to my colleagues on the Father Ted musical. This is more to my immediate colleagues, Arthur Mathews, Neil Hannon, and Paul Woodfull. But Neil Hannon and Arthur especially, because I think they have a lot of power in this. and they don't understand how damaging their silence is. Here we go. Pink News has just published the latest of over 75 hit pieces they've written on me, in which they accuse me of being a climate change denialist and a COVID denialist. This was exactly what I thought they'd do. Anyone who watches the first 5 minutes of the interview in question will be able to tell it's a lie. Editor Ben Cohen, whose husband was a trustee at Mermaids, has a lot invested in the concept of gender identity. Despite having been successfully sued by two high-profile lesbians in recent years, Julie Bindel and Joanna Cherry, Ben is not going to give up the sizable grant he receives from Google for pushing this homophobic ideology in the UK and smearing those, like myself and J.K. Rowling, who oppose it. I had hoped that the Father Ted musical might be my pension, a project with which I could finally benefit from the enduring affection for the show by creating something worthy to be placed alongside the original. I feel that I, along with my gifted colleagues, managed to achieve that aim. But now I'm being told that the musical will not be made unless I withdraw from it. When the time came for courage, instead of supporting me, my colleagues abandoned me to the mercies of the mob. Sonia Friedman of Sonia Friedman Productions and Jimmy Mulville of Hat-Trick Productions decided to blame me for the harassment I've been receiving from people like Cohen and offered me £200,000 to step away from my own show. I have heard no disagreement or anger about this decision from any of my gifted colleagues, some of whom have been friends for over 30 years. If I hadn't met so many kind and thoughtful and brave people through this fight, I would have had my belief in friendship shattered. All this has been made all the more galling by the fact that Friedman counts J.K. Rowling as a friend who has also been subjected to what I call village gossip on a global scale, and like me, has not backed down. Unlike me, however, Miss Rowling is a billionaire. I am living off the money from a flat I sold and the work I do trying to bring this medical and safeguarding scandal to light. I can't afford to give up my pension, so I'm being forced to undertake legal action with the help, hopefully, of the Free Speech Union to get my show into production. It appears my big mistake was betting everything I had on my friends, Arthur and Neil especially, speaking out for me when they could no longer ignore the truth, when they could no longer ignore what was being done to women, and finally, when they could no longer ignore what was being done to children. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting. I can't seem to move any of them on the matter of women's rights, their safety, their privacy, or their dignity. So finally, I'm going to have to appeal to their patriotism. Arthur and Neil, since 2014, 238 Irish children have been seen by Mermaids, by this shower of disgraced quacks and homophobes. 32 of those children were under 10 years old. 2 of them were 5 years old. I'd ask you to think of your children at 5 years old. Neil, you once told me you never forced your animal rights activism on me. Could I just ask you to pretend that these children are animals? I would never allow the name of Father Ted to be attached to a cause that hurts children. I am astonished at the silence that suggests you would.